computer. Got it. Okay. So I didn't know if you had, do you have anybody that commented in your team page questions at all,
Yeah,
Kat?
just Kylie.
Okay. Do you want me to go through these and we can kind of give our own spiel on it? And
Yep.
okay. So this is from Erica. She wanted to know, she's got a whole list of them here, so we'll go through them. Do you should suggest always running a group on your own or just letting a month go by without running one regardless of who runs it? Um,
Never without running a group.
yeah, I run one every single month. Otherwise, I have a carryover group, and that one is the Fab Force Fit Club that I have. And actually, it's ran by Amber Lenhair and Amber Potter with me, and we put all of our people in there. That one basically runs itself. It's not technically a challenge group. It's kind of like a support. We call it a community. The women literally just like become family in there. They talk about everything, relationship issues, everything. So it's like it's just the community. They feel really good about being involved, and they feel like they belong somewhere, and they can actually talk about their ups and downs. Challenge groups for me are more about the no excuses, kind of help, make sure people aren't falling off the wagon, that kind of a group. I I tend to do a lot of my groups with my coaches um, until they feel comfortable to do their own. But otherwise, I do them with my coaches. I don't know about you, Cassie.
Yep.
Do you let a month go by?
Oh, no, I do them with my coaches. I have let a month go by, and guess who falls off the wagon? Me. So I stopped doing that when I have a challenge group going each month, then I fall off the coaching wagon and I don't do well with that. So Jen has one big carryover group. I carry my groups over all the time. So right now I'm running a group, and if anyone wants to join that group again, I ran it in July, and then if they want to join again in August, they can, and they just roll over. The reason I do that is now because I never used to do it that way. I did something kind of like Jen did, and we just kind of hung out in there. Two reasons why we don't do the hangout one. It tends to get old after a while, and it tends to turn into everything but motivation and inspiration as far as health and fitness. And don't get me wrong, we don't only talk about health and fitness in our groups, and that's the best part. Like, we become a community and a family. But then it like gets like, doom and gloom because of something, and it kind of sticks there, and we get in a rut, and there's no like motivation. And then Beachbody threw in Beachbody On Demand. And so I tell my people, when you purchase Beachbody On Demand All Access, you have me for a whole year. So rather than throw them in a group and, do whatever over here, I roll them over into the next group. But my challenge groups are only 21 days long. So that gives me a week of rest, a week of prep, a week of advertisement for the next group. I roll those same people over, and then I add in anybody new when I do my white advertisement in that week off. So 3-week group, 1 week off, 3-week group, 1 week off. Also during that time, I'm running a 14-day or a 7-day free trial where they do the Beachbody On Demand 14-day free trial. I'm in there pretty actively posting about stuff for the first 7 days, and then I kind of let them linger and post the second set of 7 days. And then I check up with those people, and hopefully the way I run it on those dates, those people will fall into also going into my monthly groups.
Okay, I have a question on that for you. When you say that you roll over, see, I used to do that too. I used to do the rollover groups. Like I would do, okay, we are starting, a new challenge on blah, blah, blah date. And then I would kind of start feeding that into the group that I'm currently in. Like, let's say like halfway through or like beginning of week 3, I'll say, hey, just letting you guys know we end at the end of this week. I have one starting on XYZ date. If you want to go over to that group, let me know. I'll add you to that new group. So then I was doing that. But then what about the people that say they don't want to do the group? Or are they like, oh, I'm going to take a month off? Do you have a place to put them? That's kind of why I had that community group now, because that's where I can put them.
Yeah. I just have been leaving those groups open. And so I didn't have a place to put them. So this is a brand new thing, though. We're moving completely over to the Challenge Tracker app. And so now those people are going to be in a Facebook group where they can hang out and ask questions still and whatever. I think I'm going to just do one big cocktail mix of a Facebook group, and then the actual, reporting check-in daily groups are going to be on the Challenge Tracker app.
Yep.
So that's how
I really like that.
But that's brand new, so I didn't want to jump in on it because I don't know how it's going to work. But if you haven't used the Challenge Tracker app, I'm going to stop giving excuses of, I like everything to be in one place and blah, blah. I'm getting lost on Facebook and I'm missing a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And other people are too. They're sick of Facebook, and you hear it all the time. I'm sick of Facebook. I'm sick of Facebook. So the Challenge Tracker app will keep people from getting distracted, and that's what I'm just going to keep telling them. Just stay in the app. Just stay in the app. But I think what we're going to do is do everybody who doesn't want to go to the app and who doesn't want to do like a strict challenge to just do one big community group. But
yep.
I run groups with another coach, and so I highly recommend that. And actually, she's not even on my team. She's on our Team B team, but that way I don't know a lot of the same people that she knows. So we get an intermix of people, and we take turns posting. So we took, you guys, if you don't want to use those basic challenge group guides in the back office, I do, and I like them. Sometimes the Shift Shop one is very up to date and new and refreshing. I highly recommend using that one when you're doing Shift Shop. But otherwise, there's top coaches out there that have some kick-ass challenge group guides that you can just copy and paste and make your own. So what I did is copied and pasted and making them my own, but I didn't add a picture to them so that I can change the picture out every month, but the same common post. All right, Jen, take over for just a sec.
Okay. That's kind of what I do in my groups as well. Like I just actually just started this month. I did, I put in there, I made a poll so that people could vote like, hey, do you like the app? Do you want to stay here? Whatever. I was really surprised because I had people that I know told me they love the Tracker app and now they wanted to stay in the group, which is fine. But what I do in my group is I decide on a date that we're going to do the next challenge, and then we'll move over to the Tracker app, and that's where we can track all of our stuff. I'm hoping starting in September I can do more of the script. Like this one was just because I'm going to go through the second round of Shift Shop, and I wanted to see who was really interested in using the Tracker app. But within our community, I make an event, and then I invite everybody from the group, and I just say, say you're going if you want to be added. Drop your email so I can add you. And like if they were already a previous person on the Tracker, what is it? My Challenge Tracker portal on your computer, you can add them from a previous group, so you don't have to have their email address and stuff. It'll just bring up their name, put a little checkbox, send invite. So that's basically what I'm going to do moving forward. Let me bring up, gosh darn it, now I had those questions all up here. Okay, here they are. Her other question was, do you expect or suggest your coaches to run their own groups? If so, at what point are they ready? That's up to them. Like, I don't mind running them because I'm kind of a control freak. So I like that. I like setting them up. But if we're doing the Tracker app, I don't think you necessarily need to run your own. I can make you one of the coaches, like the admins on the Tracker. So when you post, it'll say coach post. I obviously don't want those to get too big or too crazy. But I highly suggest if you feel that you want to make a really good connection with your customers, I suggest that maybe you follow your sponsor or in one of my groups or one of Cassie's, whoever's. And then if you feel like branching off, branch off, but don't get discouraged at all if it's crickets, because sometimes it's crickets. When you have coaches or you have people in there that are shy, I have lots of people that are shy, but they're sitting there, they're reading them, they're motivated, they're inspired, that kind of stuff. So don't instantly think, oh, this is a flop, nobody's saying anything. I just suggest that you go, you can run your own groups when you're ready. Like some people are ready to do it right out the gate. Oh, there's Keith. Nice. Cassie, what do you think about, when do you think that your coaches should do their own challenge groups? Or do you just say, hey, come into ours and just keep going?
So this was a question I had for people too. So come into ours and bring, if you only have one or two people, you should, come in. That's fine at any time. There's no like you can't ever. The problem that I start to see though is coaches want to stay challengers and they don't want to lead and coach. And so they're not that you don't want to, but it's like, how do I transition to that? How do I not just be a challenger? So it's like, go off and, kind of do your own thing. Or, we're going to have to, you want every coach then to take on a post and to do those things. But a lot of my coaches, even if they don't take on the post, because if you have 20 different people posting, it gets confusing. The challengers like the consistency. They like to see their coaches posting. My coaches are pretty good at like just being like the hype girl, if you will, and just making sure they're commenting on everyone's because they know how it feels as a challenger to have that positive feedback. But that's something too. I would say to team up with one or two coaches who only have a couple customers so you guys can run one together.
Do you
my coach that I run challenge groups with isn't like I said directly on my team, and so we just teamed up so that we could have like bigger challenge groups with more interaction.
Do you the only thing is like when you do your tracker app or in the challenge group, do you post your own, like that's what I'm saying, like it gets to be too I think coaches, myself, I believe that you should be like more the cheerleaders for everybody and like comment on people's stuff. I don't always post my own workout in Shakeology just because I should be doing that anyways. I expect my coaches to be the cheerleaders too, because that is one thing that drives me crazy is when people bring in people and then they just disappear. Like, you brought these people in and you need to support them, part of us being coaches
you build a relationship with them prior to putting them in a challenge group. So you have to keep their relationship rolling. And I know, and I can say that and I can judge because I have done that before where I forget about someone or I didn't give them enough attention or, and those people will fall off. Now, the other thing though, is you don't have to get burnt out. So Shelly, you were the one that asked in our group and I see it asked now, like, what if it's a major group of crickets and they're quiet? I do a mini challenge if they're quiet. I go live and I get real hyper in my live video if they're quiet. I reach out and talk to them individually and talk to them about, when I did this, I found that talk a lot about, I was able to reach out and talk about things that didn't just have to do with health and fitness. If someone asks me a question, I say, please post it in the group. Other people are asking the same questions, even if other people aren't asking the same questions, because they're probably thinking the questions, Amber. So that's what I do. And you know what? Here's the thing. Here's where you're going to get burnt out. If they are in there and they're not quite ready, they're not quite ready. But don't let them see that brings you down. Post your shake every day. Post your workout picture every day. Post something engaging, like, oh my God, like my husband was a complete ass today, blah, blah. Everybody can relate to something like that. Post about, I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't get comfortable publicly on my like page and on my public page until I started getting vulnerable in my challenge groups, because I realized when I was myself in my challenge groups and I was vulnerable in my challenge groups that I received a lot of feedback and a lot of support. And almost, oh my God, my current challenge groups that are running, the old ones that I keep open, they don't talk about health and fitness at all, although they all still are somewhat sticking with it. They're in there talking about everything you can imagine, death, rape victims, marital problems. It's just insane, the stuff. And these people have never met each other before in person, some of them, and they're opening up about all these things. But you have to create that environment until you start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. You're not going to create that environment for them. So that's the things you need to do to get engaged in stuff is to post engaging stuff, post vulnerable stuff, post what you're doing every day, your workout, your Shakeology, what was hard about it today. Not just the shiny stuff, not just I lost a few pounds and look at my healthy meal. Yeah, we know. People, I don't know how many people tell me like, Cassie, oh my God, your posts are so annoying, blah, blah, blah. Back in the day, now that I'm getting real, I don't hear a lot of negative feedback, but that's because I'm posting that I'm real, but you still have to post the good stuff too. Does that make sense?
Yep. How often do you switch up the script, and how much do you invest in setting up a group? How much time do you invest? The switching up the script, I would say it depends. Like, if you're running a multi-workout group, I would look at there is a challenge group post on there that you can post, like Cassie said, or you can Google them. Google 21-day challenge group script, and you'll find tons of them out there. And that's just something you have to look at and just try to find something that relates to you and change it into your own words. They don't have to be crazy posts. You could do your own. Think of 21 days of things that you can say. Like, I had a self-love challenge. Like, that's a really good group. And it just kind of helps them figure out their shit, the stuff that's underneath why they're struggling with weight loss or whatever it is. And I would say that if you're switching up your script all the time, I think it's gonna, I don't know. I think for me personally, I don't have that kind of time to sit down and write a new script every single month. So if you could just recycle it, because the tracker app saves your posts. So you could go back to that one like 2 months down the road and go, okay, that one was really good. I'm going to run that script again. And maybe just pick out like 2 or 3 different kinds of posts that you can find on Facebook, set them up in a Word document, and then just upload them into your tracker app, and then just keep recycling them. You're going to have new people. You're going to have people that follow you the whole time, and then they'll comment. They'll say stuff. Like, I have some very loyal customers that no matter what group I do, they're in there. Like, they know all the same stuff that I say. They don't care. They love helping other people. And can't get them as coaches, but for some reason they love being a full-time challenger. So the other thing, she has a couple more questions. What if planning a group prior to it starting is one of your biggest setbacks? What advice do you have for someone like that?
Say it again.
What if planning a group prior to it starting is one of your biggest setbacks? What advice do you have for someone like that?
For someone who doesn't plan the group before it starts?
Yeah, that's like, it's one of their struggles is that they can't seem to get it planned ahead of time.
Oh, okay. That's me. I don't plan any of my posts, except for in my challenge group. But my challenge groupie person, this is why we're good. My co-coach, because she's a planner and I'm not. But when I wing it, man, it's fucking good. Like, it's so good. And she's always like, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just got to go. I got this feeling and I got to say it and I got to go. And then, I hope it's okay. And she's like, you don't have to ask. You just post. But then I'm also like the one that's like, shit, I woke up late. I didn't get my post at 6 a.m. Like, thankfully we have this script. I save it on my computer and my email and I highlight it, copy paste, go to Pinterest real quick or Google, find an image that sounds cool with it, post it. And then we always here's the other thing. Almost always end it with a question. So I don't know how the heck this happened in our Shift Shop group, but all of a sudden everybody, no matter what the question was at the end of each post, they posted like how their workout was that day or how their shake was, even though we didn't ask them. And so people just started doing that naturally, because we had 50 people in there. So everything just stayed nice and aligned under each daily post. People just naturally did it. It was perfect. So that's another thing. If you have a lot of people in a group, just say comment below in this post, and they'll just post, because you can now upload pictures in your comments. So they'll post a sweaty selfie, whatever. But if you're not a planner, that's fine. What I would say to do is just go to Google, find a top coaches challenge group, and just select every morning. Just save that in your bookmarks and just select a post that you think is engaging, that you enjoyed when you were a challenger, and use that and use the question at the end of it, so that they have to answer. And I still have people, and this one group is pretty cricket. Shelly, you were in that group, the Cook and Effort Fitness group. But then at the end, it's crickets. No one talks. And at the end, like, they're all like, I really love this group. I got a lot out of it. You did? Like, you didn't even talk. Okay. But some people are like that. Like, they don't need to spill their whole world. They're busy, you know, they just want to know, like, I just have this group I'm going to check in with every day. And that's why when you're posting that you're working out in your shake, if they're not posting, they at least know that you're still doing it. We don't know if they are, but you know, they know that we're doing it and they have someone to check in with them. So I say that even if you don't want to post, if you just wing it and you're not sure what, it shows through, because that's what I was doing. And I think it really shined through that I was winging it. And I think that that's unprofessional of me to do. It's not fair to them to do. And it doesn't show that I care. So I think that you got to kind of move past that. It's a lot of work, but once you get in a groove, especially if you can find a success partner to do it with, then you kind of share it. You know, one time I had a really rough week. Jessica, my success partner, was like, do you want me to get the next 2 days post? Like, we already have them planned. I'll just do it. And I'm like, yes, please. This week she was sick. I said, I'll just do it. The other thing too is, if you want to switch it up, do a video of yourself, do a live video, do a post, do a picture, highlight a Beachbody $500 winner, or people that you already know, highlight them. Ask one of us to step in and like come on and do like a surprise live video or something like that. Like, totally got to be innovative. I'm always trying to think, like, how can I switch this up? Do a wall squat challenge for that week. In addition to your workout, we're all going to do a wall squat. Go live with your wall squat. Google is full of stuff, but you got to get a notebook, you got to Google it, and then you got to write it all down. So if you're not a planner, at least have a hat that you can draw your ideas out of. Like, here's my ideas, I'm going to draw out of them. You know, maybe in our team pages, we can do a file, like a running file of random, exciting, fun things you can do in your group to get people engaged. The other thing I wanted to touch on quick, since I'm trying to talk about engagement, that's been working for me, is making a Google Doc, what's it called? Application to join my challenge group. Don't call it an application if you think that sounds scary, because sometimes it does. So I'll just say, hey, do you got a few minutes to fill out a questionnaire? The reason I do this is I want to make sure that my target audience within the group, I reach everyone's interests, I reach everyone's strengths, I reach everyone's weaknesses. And then I also say, what's your goal? Would you like to lose 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 30 or more, whatever. The reason I do that is then you know what to talk about. And you know, too, if you're running 1 or 2 groups, you might not want to put someone in a group that needs to lose 50 to 60 pounds with someone who's like, I'm just here to get a 6-pack. You might want to rethink it. Not always. It might be okay, but you might want to rethink something like that, because sometimes I run 2 groups and I'll just run a group of women that need to lose a lot of weight. A lot of times there's a lot of emotional stuff going on there. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's fair to put them in a group where they're going to feel intimidated. So I'll just run a group where I say 5 or less people only, and I'm looking for people that need to lose more than 50 pounds. You don't have to say it that way. You can filter it out that way. And then run even if it's a free group, a free trial group. Think about your audience, really get to know them and care about them. And a way that you do that is through this application, because it's a way that they don't have to talk to you live and they can really pour out their feelings, and then it's sent directly to you.
Yep. I love the questionnaire part, because, Cassie, you just helped me remember that even myself, I don't filter those people out. And I know myself how much baggage I had when I was at my heaviest. Like, if I would have been in a group with someone that was like already at their goal weight, like, I think I probably would have felt worse about myself, even though we know not to compare ourselves. Right. But I would have. I mean, I know I've had women flat out tell me they won't be in our group, or they were in the group and they just feel like shit. And like, that feels like that, because I don't think of it like that. I think, we're all in different areas of our fitness. And, that's my target market, is anyone that needs to lose like 25 plus. I'm more like even 50 to 75 to 100 pounds. I relate to those people a lot. I know other women that have not had major overweight issues, that they don't relate to people that have that much weight to lose. So it's all in finding that target market when you're advertising. Because, if you don't get it and you've never struggled, it's really hard to relate to someone who does. And, even someone that does struggle, it's hard for me to relate to someone who's never had to struggle. Like, that's that's a struggle right there. That's what I'm saying. The other question that she had in the last one was, oh crap. Oh, how do you transition from free group to paid? And I don't do a lot of free groups anymore. I used to. I don't, and I know I need to probably start doing more of the trial ones. I'm very, very nervous about what's going to happen once this awesome deal of the 160 challenge pack goes back up to 199. I'm in a group with Carl, and I literally said I'm not opposed to begging that you do not change this. And I had tons of people that were in there that were like, please, please, please. Because I said, honestly, this has been incredible for me. Like every month people are more willing to spend that money. $199, over $200 after taxes. Ugh, you know? So, I mean, I don't know, Cassie, do you do free groups? I mean, if you do, share how you do that.
Just started.
Okay.
I just started. Here's what I say, and I don't know how this is going to work for when it's $199, but I've been saying to people, I literally said this to someone today. I got to talk to my husband and wait till I get paid, she says. I said, all right, $160 will get you the startup kit. I didn't call it a challenge pack. And you will get a whole year of in-home fitness, basically a gym membership. You don't have to continue the Shakeology after the first month. And so that would just be your initial payment. She says, all right, I got to talk to my husband. I said, tell him you get 30 meals, 1 year of in-home fitness, which is basically like having a gym, a meal plan, several different types of meal guides, portion control containers, me as your coach for 1 whole year, and a group of supportive people for a whole year. Now, do you think that's worth $160? Sounds worth it to me. I think he will think that too, was her response. Okay, so some people won't go off of that that easy, and I don't know if 199 will work, but I do know that you can say it that way rather than saying, do you know how much I pay for a gym membership? I pay $350 a year for a gym membership that I can't even get to. Blah. Everyone's heard that. They don't want to hear it that way. Spin it around on how they can be helped. So that's the same wording that I say for my free groups is 14-day free group, sign up. I remind them when to cancel on the 12th or 13th day, how to cancel, but I do reach out to them personally beforehand. What do you think? How do you like it? Would you like to join my next group? My next group is much more intense. We're in there posting every day. It's not so quiet and crickets. We get real. We ask questions. We show you, we can do a meal plan, all those different things, and explain why rolling over into a purchasing group is better than a free group. Did I get off track there?
No.
No, I don't think so. So, but my free groups have literally only been the Beachbody On Demand trial groups. They haven't been anything but that since. But I've been seeing a lot of coaches who say run free groups. Run them as much as you can. Just get people interested in the group atmosphere. My concern if I do it without doing it with the 14-day free trial is they fall in love with that group atmosphere and everyone's out jogging, which is great. Jogging is great. Jogging doesn't help you lose weight if you need to. Jogging combined with good eating, combined with resistance training and strength training does. And I can tell you that because I was a runner and I have friends who are runners, and a lot of them are still not at their goal weight, but they're in a really good shape. And that's because they need to switch up their workouts, and then they're on Pinterest looking for strength training exercises. And it's like, no, you need to get in and get Beachbody On Demand and like experience that and, those kinds of things. So, but I don't push the challenge pack after the 14-day free trial. I talk about it a lot in the free trial, but I don't push it. I just push Beachbody On Demand because it's, anymore Beachbody On Demand has everything. It doesn't have the challenge pack. It doesn't have the Success Club points. It doesn't have Shakeology, but it has the food. It has the nutrition. And that's where they need to start. And honestly, I'm starting to get people now who started with Beachbody On Demand, but they keep staying in my groups and they watch us post about Shakeology and they're like, oh, I'm getting decent results, but maybe I could get better. And now they've become Shakeology customers. And I think our biggest thing to learn about challenge groups is just make mistakes and have patience. In April, I had 36 Success Club points. I don't fucking know how. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was running free groups and those people were like, I need to do what she's doing. After doing months of free groups, the same free groups, they all just, for some reason in April, were like, I love this group. I don't want it to end and I need to step up my game. So patience is key, and go after whatever you can to help whatever that individual needs in the group, without shaming them and without pushing them to purchase something. And I swear it will come back around, but you have to show that it works for you. If you're not being a proof of the product, and if you can't show your physical results, then you got to show your mental. You got to show your financial. You got to show your happiness, and you got to live it. And if you're faking it, that's fine. Fake it, because guess what? When you start faking it in here, it's going to start radiating in all aspects of your life. If you're talking positive to them and you're talking positive to yourself, you're just going to start being positive. It's truly how your mind works, is that positive self-talk. And then have patience, and they will want to be just like you. Can I have my water back?
Does that answer your questions, Erica? You had a question too, didn't you, in your group?
It was Shelly's question about how do you get people to engage when there's crickets.
Oh.
So we answered that one. Do you have any? Oh, it's 9:00. Shit. Does anyone have any other questions? One that we always talk about too is, do you make people post their food journals? I tried. Sometimes I would make it a challenge for the week, like, hey, let's post our food journals for 3 days this week just to see what everyone's doing. But it seems to be intimidating, and people get scared to talk about when they mess up. So that was one that I never make people do that. And also I don't make them post publicly that they're joining the group, but I do ask that they do. And usually you get a couple people. And then I never tell people what they need to do, ever, ever, ever. I always say, can I offer you advice? Even if they're not looking for it, even if they're posting something and it's like, oh gosh, I'll just say, can I offer you some advice? No one ever says no to that. So if you see like, they're, this one girl in this Shift Shop group was like, well, I'm not really into the fats, so I'm going to do Shift Shop, but I'm not going to do the blues, the oranges, or the teaspoons. Now I could say, you have to, you psycho, but I won't. I'm going to say, can I offer you some advice? Can I share an article with you? Can we talk about macronutrients? Because you need that, or your body's going to starve and it's going to hang on to fat in all the areas you don't want it, and you're going to be pissed off at the end of this group. Okay. So there's ways you can spin it to sound like you're being helpful, but really trying to trick them into doing what you know is best for them. So that's stuff that I've done in the past, and I've offended people. And that's just my advice, is don't push and don't make, just support, 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 and have patience.
I think we have them all.
All right. Any questions you can post in the group, and then I'll try. And Jen, you have an application too, right, that you have sent out to people?
I had one, yes. I haven't used it in a long time, but I would love to revamp it. So
yeah, once you get, I would revamp mine too, I think, but I'll still share it. But it's just the Google Docs, the way they do it, it shoots you the answers, and then you have all the answers in one document from people, and you can organize them and stuff. So it's just kind of cool. I don't really do anything with it. I just kind of read it and understand who my people are and what their goals are. And sometimes I'll pull it back up when they're being frumpy in the group, and I'll say, do you remember what you said? Why are you here? I think I remember, like, you had this goal you were talking about. So it could just be a good, useful one. You can also find a bunch of cool ones on Google from coaches who post their stuff. All right. We got another team call to jump on in Team B. It's going to be a good one. You should definitely tune in.
All right, I will get this recording up much faster than I got the last one. So
thank you.
Yep, you guys have a good night. Thanks, Cassie.